you were very public, very young, and everybody would have identified you as a hurler in every conversation they would have had with you pretty much from the time you were 15. Hard to deal with all that.
Yeah, but when you're young, you're in that bubble that it doesn't really affect you as much. It's when you get older and you probably think about more things that it probably affects you a little bit more. And you know, you're probably getting close to the end of your career, and you know time is running out to kind of, I suppose, winning All Ireland for all the people that say you'll never win one. You know, it's great to win one and have that nobody can say that to you anymore. You know, it would be always a thing. You know, you're nothing unless you win in the senior All Ireland. No matter that I've won every other medal that there nearly is to win.
Yeah.
So
when did you stop caring about that stuff? Like,
it was probably 2015. Early 2015, really, maybe a little bit of 14 when Mum and Dad got sick, I suppose. That was really when more important things came, and I spoke about it before. Like, there obviously is a human side to things, and sport is only a hobby at the end of the day for me and for the rest of the guys. And it wasn't just me; there was other guys. I suppose parents sick at the time as well, and you know, we all realised that we needed to enjoy the sport a bit more, because do you know the way it's kind of gone so professional almost in a way now, that sometimes the enjoyment is gone out of it if it's too regimental, or you don't have a balance between playing and actually enjoying things outside of it then and making time for them kind of things. I think sometimes people can get too caught up in the whole hurling or football or whatever it is, amateur game, to try and be a professional, when sometimes you need to actually pare it back a little bit and relax, and you might be able to enjoy it a little bit more, you know.
Did somebody have to have a conversation with you for you to understand that? Or like, was that a penny drop? Your parents get sick and you go, holy shit, I've got my priorities a little bit wrong here. Is it as straightforward as that? And yet also, that sounds kind of complicated, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you need a bit of outside help to go, here, listen, Joe, hang on a second, everything's going to be all right. Let's just focus on this and we'll worry about this at some point in the future.
Yeah, you kind of realise that, I suppose, yourself when it hits home. Yeah, you kind of, no, not really talk to anybody in particular. Like, obviously, Mum and Dad and different things like that, and I have a big family, so there's lots of people to talk to. But yeah, it was probably the realisation that, like, realistically, like, not many people live past 100 or anything like that. So, like, if you lost one of your parents at that time, it would have been horrific, you know. So there obviously is a long time hopefully left in the two of them, but you know, them things creep into your mind at the time, and they're the most important things to me, you know. So you wanted to kind of enjoy that just in case.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Because you did your growing up in public. Like, that was kind of the point I was making. Everybody knew who you were as 15. Like, I remember doing one of the Sunday sport games where it was a club match. And I remember the analysis compared you to Henry Shefflin. I think you're 17 at the time. And it's like very difficult for anybody not to have their heads turned. Oh, they're saying I'm Henry Shefflin on the TV. Like, and maybe you didn't, right? But the rest of the country is watching this going, geez, this young lad Canning, he's the new Shefflin. And the pressure builds and builds and builds. And so every day you go out, the expectation is exactly the same. And some days you manage to live up to it and exceed the expectation.
Yeah, no, I never bought into the whole thing. So, like, no matter what people said about me, I never bought into that.
How did you not? Because that's
because I come from a family that wouldn't allow that. No, I never bought into that. That was never spoken about at home. I wouldn't put myself in a situation where there was people in my life that would say that to me. but I'd always know that it was said.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was very hard, like in the last number of years with social media and stuff like that, not to realise the expectation. Because I found for a long time, if Galway played well, it was fine, get the applause, grand. But if we lost, it was almost back on me more so than not. And that was a thing I felt I found very difficult to deal with. Because for a good few years there, like the debate about playing full forward or where was my best position, that got to me, because I've changed as a hurler in a different way in the last 5 or 6 years compared to the hurler I was when I started off. And the game has changed as well, tactically and so forth. So a lot of the people that were saying it didn't really understand the game. And there's obviously more of them out there than there is people that actually understand the game and tactics and actually can read a game perfectly.
Yeah.
So that was the part that I found difficult to deal with. It was frustrating more so than anything. But like I had to, that was my life at the time. You know, I couldn't do too much about it.